Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, today we got some news, and it really does depend on how you interpret the news. But the fact is, Donald Trump is gaining in swing state polls, and a lot of people will be like, "No, he isn't," and they'll be laughing. But if you actually take a look at numbers, you'll see that Kamala Harris is no longer winning polls by 4 points or by 3 points, not even 2 points. She, yes, she won North Carolina polls by one, okay? 1 point. And even that, I would say, is unrealistic. Well, it if she's gonna win, she might as well win it by a point. I don't think she's gonna win it at all, seeing that that state has had a good uh year in 2022, despite the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Not only that, it just really does really well in the midst of GOP backlash, and that's why I think possibility is overwhelming that Trump's going to end up carrying the state. She's actually outnumbering Kamala Harris in the polls. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, but let's take a look at the state of Pennsylvania. We're also updating our said forecast, and yes, it's true. Kamala Harris did gain one poll. Well, actually, there's one Emerson College poll that had Trump at it was just a tight race with Trump just by at one. You'll see, but yeah, um, you'll still see Kamala Harris is winning majority of the polls, but she's not cranking up the majority of them. The biggest poll she won was Quinnipiac, and here's the funny thing: Quinnipiac is laughable because Quinnipiac's the most inaccurate poll in the country. How can you go and say that this is legitimate? Sure, it's registered into like Silver Bulletin, The Hill, and Race to the White House because, yeah, technically it's in the margin of error, but that doesn't erase the history of the inaccuracy of the Quinnipiac University. It's just a lot of people say, "Oh, Kamala Harris is beating Trump by 5 in Pennsylvania. It's over." Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Look at the source. Oh, it's coming from Quinnipiac. Sure, it's in the margin of error. And let's keep in mind, this is from, I want to believe, sample size people that took this uh, poll. I think this is the people that took this poll. 1,000 1,331 people. And ideally, that's how much usually people take the poll. That's not you. That's 1,000 people's not going to decide the state of Pennsylvania. Period. Period. And yes, it on paper it looks like, yeah, Kamala Harris is going to do really well in Pennsylvania. Well, if you actually look at the sources, like even this Morning Consult poll we looked at the other day, Morning Consult is still inaccurate. 2 point for Kamala Harris. The point is, these polls overestimate Democrats by a lot. And if you actually go back a couple elections where Trump is running against Clinton and Biden, you'll see these polls were bogus. They were saying that Biden was supposed to crush Trump by 8 points. Sure, they're a little bit better this time, but that doesn't mean they're accurate. Then again, Donald Trump support's hard to poll because a lot of Donald Trump support doesn't take polls. They don't believe in taking polls, and that's not bad. The most important poll is the election, right? The general election poll. And that is the poll that everyone needs to kind of vote on. So, yeah, you know what? Let the Democrats walk into a trap of illusion that they're going to win Pennsylvania by a lot. Average wise, sure, they gained a little bit back thanks to Quinnipiac. But yeah, you'll see Harris has 1.3. But looking at, oh, I spelled Trump wrong. Let me fix that. Looking at my county prediction for Pennsylvania, yeah, I do think that it kind of has changed. 1.17 was the margin for Biden as he carried the state of Pennsylvania in that time. So now what the average is saying is Harris is going to carry a little bit more by 0.20% more. I am a bit skeptical about that, but this is what it's allegedly going to look like. But yeah, if this was true, you would see Erie and Northampton counties pretty much and very likely stay with the Democrat Party. It would very likely look like this here. But yeah, in reality, 54 counties for Trump, 13 counties for Kamala Harris. But this is what it's looking like. All right, let's jump to the next state, North Carolina. And a lot of people will not be happy, but I want to believe Harris took back North Carolina, as we'll probably see. Oh, actually, never mind. We took back North Carolina, according to average. It's a conflict of interest. Like, we're going back and forth between Harris, Trump, Harris. And guess what? Realistically, I would expect that this is going to be the case until the election. Ideally, if Harris should have been doing, Harris should be winning North Carolina. Period. Harris should be winning North Carolina, seeing how Trump did bad in 2016 in the polling in the state and in 2020. This is Trump's best polling in the said state of North Carolina. Very interesting. But yes, you will see Trump leads by just 0.30. Looking at his previous said elections, 0.30. I wonder if there was an election. Well, let's just take a look at North Carolina elections. Because, honestly, I'm very tossed up between Scotland County. But yeah, you'll see this is a good example. It really, actually, I think it looks exactly like the presidential election, but it's actually slightly larger than Trump's. Okay, yeah. Yeah, slightly larger than Donald Trump, ideally. Interesting. Well, I say this is a pretty close race, but yeah, was a pretty big win for um Republicans, but This won't give us county results. Governor's race, you'll see Democrats did very well, of course. Roy Cooper was obviously a star. Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson, Attorney General. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, Josh Stein. Obviously, I don't think it's going to look like this. Cope all you want. Dale Falwell. Yeah, you'll see Scotland County did go for uh Jen Mangrum in this election. So although I would think Scotland County did go more liberal, if this said polling is correct, in other words, that Trump is going to win by 0.30, I would say that it probably would look like something like this in the said state. Yeah, you'll see. Part of the reason why she's doing so well, she didn't carry New Hanover, but I think New Hanover would go for Harris. But yes, you'll see a pretty big map here. Uh, yeah, even this map here looks somewhat similar. Josh Dobson against Jessica Holmes. I think it's exactly the same. I don't know if this is going to look. Really does depend. I don't know about that county. We'll just kind of put it light blue in the consideration pile. You'll see even in the judicial races, it's pretty close. Yeah. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and give that to Trump. So this obviously is probably what I think would look like as of right now. Pretty tossed up election in North Carolina. Ideally, I do think it's going to go back and forth between Trump and Harris. Oh, Harris wins North Carolina again. Oh, guess what? It's going to go back to Trump because and I would just trust the fact that Trump's chances in winning North Carolina are very high. If Trump's doing well in Georgia, more better in Georgia than North Carolina, you know there's a problem. You know there's a problem. And we continue to say, oh, Trump, North Carolina is a more conservative state than Georgia. Well, polls in this election totally say the opposite. So you can't claim that, oh, the polls are right here, and you can't claim that North Carolina is more conservative than Georgia at the same time. You just can't. You are confusing your base and you're confusing your voters. So, yes, very interesting here said result. Georgia is next. And realistically, we're doing really well in Georgia. Let's take a look at average wise. Yeah, Donald Trump won a 2-point victory. That's really good. 2.3 point win in said the Emerson College, and that's part of the reason why I'm saying, what, Trump is really very well surging in the state of Georgia. Yeah, you'll see the best for Harris would be a Trump plus 0.50. Okay, a Trump plus 50. But that's necessarily not always the case. Taking a look at Georgia now. Yeah, it's obviously tossed up, but I realistically think that it looks like the same like our last prediction. We have Washington County right here, and they're just going to go in favor for Donald Trump. And of course, we have the Black Belt counties. There we go. There's Bibb is right here. Clark. Oh, yes, these counties. We are missing those counties. But yes. So, same results, just like I want to. Well, technically, the North Carolina results aren't the same. But we'll see. All right, yeah. 259 counties to Harris's 67 counties so far in our said swing state prediction. Okay, let's jump all the way to the state of Ohio. No, not the. Why am I thinking Ohio? Michigan. Michigan, and here's the other thing. Kamala Harris is doing well in Michigan. That's surprising. She's supposed to. If when it comes to she's winning a 2.2. That seems to be the said average. And you'll say, oh, it's not really looking good for Trump in the state of Michigan. You'll see we have it's no longer looking like ties anymore. Quinnipiac has a crazy poll out again that Harris is going to defeat Trump by 5. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Same deal with Morning Consult here. And this is exactly why I'm saying, you know what? These polls are just absolutely like. I would like to know what group you guys are actually polling. You guys are probably favoring some sort of demographic, but everyone's saying it's over in Michigan. Oh no! Well, here's the thing: when has Morning Consult ever been right? When has Quinnipiac University ever been right? Yeah, sure. It's in the margin of error. Barely. You'll see. Well, no, actually, I was looking at Insider Advantage, but yeah, it's in the margin of error. but that doesn't mean, oh, they're accurate. We keep forgetting these polls. We don't know exactly what group they're polling. We don't actually know. Yeah, they're statewide, but what group? What group of people are they polling? So, yes, this is what a Harris plus 0.2 would look like. You'll see, obviously, she wins in the Detroit metro. This one was good. RCP was saying toss up. And I think that's what they say in all of them. Yeah, Biden was supposed to win by 0.9. Wait, no, 5.9. Look at all that. And Trump was winning, like, I don't know, no polls. This is way better. These polls are way better compared to his 2020 run. And hey, guess what? Harris might still win the state. We're not saying Trump's totally going to win it, but you got to remember a lot of these polls were wrong. They were wrong. So, yes, you'll see Harris 0.20 compared to Biden's. Let's see. It should say it around here. Oh, 2.78. So ideally and realistically, I do think that it kind of looks like the same that I have been telling everyone it would look like. Saginaw and Muscogin counties, they are in favor for Trump. They were teetering for Donald Trump in the said 2020 election. But I do think like this Lenanu County up here will still go for Harris. Looking up here. $330 counties. This is what it's looking like. Abroad, but yes, I do think clarifying and looking at, let's see, the Michigan counties. Yeah, I agree. Muscogin, Saginaw, they probably would go more for Trump this time around here for sure. But now we go to Wisconsin, a state that's really hard to predict. So let's turn to the state of Wisconsin. As you know, good news in Wisconsin. Hopefully, it still remains. Donald Trump has won two polls. Well, technically, one in each. Actually, it's actually starting to look more realistic. It's back to where it used to be the other way around, but now it seems Harris is doing better in said Michigan compared to Trump, compared to her performance in Wisconsin. And you'll see these polls are in the margin of error. So they count. That means they are added into the polling roster. So, yes, you'll see Harris still winning the state, they'll continue to tell us, by 1.7. Okay, so what is a 1.7 win for Harris? You might ask yourself. So obviously, I think she's carrying all the counties She won in, let's see, 20. No, not she. Technically, she ran on to be under the behalf of Joe Biden as her running as his running mate. But yes, probably carrying all the counties Biden won in 2020. If this correction prediction was to be correct, I highly doubt it, since the pendulum usually swings the other direction in opposite of the party that's in office, but you just don't know. But yeah, this is what I think it's gonna look like. Well, actually, wait, we forgot Porter County. But yeah, possibly gaining Columbia. I've talked about Columbia in the past. It's shifted more left lately. Let's take a look at some elections. So yeah, Harris is supposed to beat Trump by 0.70. Well, let's see how it looked like in Wisconsin in 2022. All right. All right, this obviously was a 3.4. And I honestly say, you know what? It's not going to look like this. Dane's going 70%. I don't know. Is this 70%? Yes, it's 70%. But yeah, you're seeing upper 50s said results for Tony Evers. And I went over why Tony Evers won that race, by the way. Then there's the same results for the Attorney General's race. Well, actually, not the same, because Columbia is actually going for Eric Toney. Secretary of State. Barely. Just barely. Douglas Follett. By 0.29. Treasurer. And there's a special election, of course. But looking at Columbia County, let's see how it shifted in 2020. Yeah, you'll see. Oh, like Biden plus 8.1. Yeah, obviously a big problem for you guys in Wisconsin. If you think Biden's going to win Wisconsin by 8.1, you know that, yeah, you guys are the problem. So Columbia went to Trump by 1.53. I think it's going to go to Trump. Seeing it voted for him twice, it's probably going to go for him again. It's not the biggest, somewhat moderate county. There's also Vernon County, unpopulated, but a little bit more. Well, actually, Kenosha. Vernon actually went by 4.78. I think it's safe to go to Trump. But yeah, I guess turnout in that county will result to the county going blue. So I doubt it's going to be another low turnout election. So I do think it's going to go for Trump. But this is what it's looking like so far. Rust Belt, Sun Belt, Eastern Sun Belt here. We have our last said states before we end this long video, and that is the states of Arizona and Nevada. And looking and not analyzing these states, yeah, it looks like I would say Trump's lead has went down a little bit compared to seeing that Morning Consult. It comes from Morning Consult. Just remember that. You can always go back to our video where we review every accurate poll. According to not conservatives like the liberals will point out, just according to 2020 results, right? 2020 results and how bad they were off. Okay, Morning Consult, which is an inaccurate poll, gave Kamala Harris a 1-point win. Well, guess what? Emerson College followed back with 2 polls going for Donald Trump. Okay, a one 1 point win for him each. So yeah, technically Donald Trump still wins by 0.55. So ideally and realistically, it looks like this. It still looks like this, and I think the state of the race being so tossed up right now, it's probably going to look like this until election day. Just keep your minds open. This is probably what it's going to end up happening. Who knows? But then we have the state of Nevada. And Nevada here, same deal. It's going for Harris by, I don't know. But I could safely say, you know what, it's going to look like this. There's no conflict of interest, no dispute on which county is going for which. But yeah, I do think it's kind of going to look like this. But yeah, this is the current states, our big swing state poll drop, and this is what it still looks like. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, and I will see you in the next political episode.